Alright, well, looks like it's just going to be a vlog day today. Sadly, the mailing service is really failing me lately. I don't know if it's Christmas time or what, but I have at least 3 packages that seem to be lost, and probably 5 total that, well, another 2 more that are like, they don't know when it's going to show up. It just keeps saying on transit like several days in a row. So sadly, I can't get anything done. I was going to work on the LTR 450 today, and I bought the cage and the everything to hook up the air filter, but my air filter hasn't shown up, and I ordered it like it got shipped out on the 26th of November, and today is what, we're almost halfway through December, so I can't finish that one. Let's see, I'm still waiting on a plunger choke for this to get that one sold, and the carburetor I ordered like almost 2 weeks ago. It's like over a week and a half now on the yellow one, so that I can get that one sold. So I can't do anything on that one. I think it's supposed to show up today, but it keeps just saying in transit. It's at my local mailing office, but we'll see if I get that. The ones that are lost is specifically the Polaris Predator 500, the shift shaft that I need to put that back together since I freaking broke it. It's just gone. I mean, I ordered that one almost 2 weeks ago as well, and it's not giving me any updates. The Raptor 50 rings were supposed to be here days ago, and it just keeps saying in transit, in transit. So I have 3-4 projects that just I can't make any progress because these packages just keep getting lost, and there's literally nothing I can do. So sadly, a lot of my video potential is just sitting around. I'm gonna have to look for some deals and keep working on what I can. I think I have a little bit I can do on the Arctic Cat, assuming I can steal an overflow box and whatnot, and hopefully get that thing up for sale. But yeah, I don't know. Has this Christmas been bad for you guys, or maybe it's just me in Central Ohio? But man, this is the worst I've ever had it. We ordered a lot of packages on the back end of last year when we were working on golf carts, and I don't think I had a single lost package. And right now I have 3 that seem to be lost and 2 more that are just stuck somewhere in transit. So let me know what you guys are experiencing. But this has been what I've had to deal with. So I don't know. It is what it is. I'll just keep looking for deals. So yeah, happy holidays, I guess. So the Arctic Cat definitely has a coolant leak right here, and it's dripping out on the underside. Let me see. There's no light back here, but I'm pretty sure that the seal here is just garbage. Now that I feel it, I'm pretty sure they just gunked it up with what's that stuff called, gasket maker, because I can just pull rubber chunks out of it. So I'm gonna have to replace I think that one's just a big old O-ring where this whole piece seats on there. Pretty easy fix, but I do have to drain the coolant, which is okay because I have to drain the coolant anyways to replace this sensor, and also, well, I guess I don't have to drain it for the overflow box that I want to add. But yeah, just another issue with the Arctic Cat. Nothing crazy. Hopefully it's as simple as that one O-ring, but just another thing to get done before I can get this for sale. So I'll have to get that one done. All right, I just found this old box with the radiator in it. This radiator was from an LTZ400, and it had a puncture right here. You can see the hole in the radiator right there. It just leaked right out of it. So luckily, I believe that this guy is just fine. He's kind of burnt back here, but assuming he holds liquid just fine, then we can stick this on the Arctic Cat and fixed the remaining issues with the Arctic Cat. So I think I'm going to rob this. The biggest issue is whether I can get these bolts in the Arctic Cat because there's a bunch of JB Watt in there. But let's give it a go. Let's get this off, and maybe we can finish the Arctic Cat today.
Alright, you can see it right here, a little bit of the nastiness that's going on the bottom of the water pump housing. I'm really hoping that's not damaged. It looks kind of ugly down there, so I have the gasket. Luckily, I found a gasket kit that has this weird one, but if it's broken, man, I don't think we're gonna get lucky. So we're gonna have to take it off and see. Luckily, I'm pretty sure I have a spare one of these. So let's go ahead and drain the coolant and see what we got going on. Whew. Sprayed me. Take this radiator cap off. That should do it. Got it. Got my crotch all wet. That's about it. I think this is just 3 or 4 bolts. There we go. And she comes right up. Let's see what's going on here. So it looks like the gasket maker was just put on the bottom, really to try and keep it from leaking. I wonder. This guy is pretty flattened out, but I wonder if he was just failing or if there's damage. Doesn't look bad on here. It must have been leaking, and then they just tried to throw some gasket maker on there in hopes that it would stop the leak. We'll kind of look at it a little better here, but make sure it's not actually chunked up. No, that's just gasket maker on the outside, so my best bet is they didn't have a new seal for it, and they just kind of wishful thinking that it would work. I don't see any reason that it should have failed. So I'm going to clean this up really well. Throw a new O-ring in there. It's definitely leaking from there. That's why they stuck it there. So easy fix. Do that, and then we'll get the coolant box on. But I'm going to clean this off best I can so it doesn't look janky for the next person. Got our brand new water pump gasket here. And got coolant in there. Alright, hopefully this is the right one. Yep. Okay. So this guy is way less squished. He's got a lot more thickness to him. That should work way better. Go ahead and put him on. Hopefully without any issues. It's not sitting on there correctly. It's almost like something's in the way. Oh, there's a dowel pin here. You have to get it like perfectly lined up on the dowel pin, and then it slides on. Well, shoot. That's being feisty. Okay, there we go. That one wasn't even connected. I'm just stupid and took it off. Alright. Pretty snug on these. Imagine these are like 7 foot-pounds. So we'll be close enough. All right, this should be good. Go ahead and clean up the old coolant so we can make sure that whatever coolant we see is new coolant if we have any leaks. So I'll kind of take care of that. Then we got the O-ring fixed on here. Next up, we need to swap out or put in the overflow box, and it's probably going to be problematic because of the old, so the JB Weld here is like, I don't know if you can see that hole, but it is full of JB Weld. This one is not touched. I realize that one's okay. So I'm going to try and find the right thread tap, and hopefully that JB Weld just gets right out of the way, and we can just tap these right. So we find out what thread these are and get the thread tap, and hopefully that'll be easy. All right, I get the old radiator here that we need to steal this overflow box from. Dang. Kind of in there. Got a little bit of overspray on it, but should be fine. All right, so the top one goes over and sticks in here. This one goes over and down there, and then this one, this long hose, goes over and into the bottom. So when it overflows, right now it's just spilling out the side of the bike. Well, this will cause the overflow to go up into the overflow container like it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and I need this hose. It's kind of zip tied on there though. Yeah, it is. Let me grab some dikes real quick. All right. Just need to get rid of this. Give me that hose. And then we can pull this one out. We may have to reuse this if the old one's not long enough. I really don't want to damage this overflow box, so gotta be extra careful. You can break these little plastic pegs off quite easily and then ruin your entire overflow box. So this is what I was concerned about. It definitely like sat on an exhaust or something for a short period of time. Luckily, because it's plastic, I think it all just melted and merged together, but I really kind of need to fill it with coolant to make sure it's not going to leak. But I don't think. Yeah, it looks solid, so. And I'm pretty sure the bike I took this off of, the overflow box worked fine. It was just it was the hole in the radiator that was causing issues. So, okay, let's go ahead and this should go right here, just like that. Looks like it's gonna fit just fine. And then we need to tap these. Grab my bolts. Both had quite a bit of washers on them. Interesting. Look at this one. It's got a nut on it. I don't know what's going on with that. Why is it so goofy? This one has double washers. This one has a nut and a washer and maybe another washer. I don't know. These bolts are probably not correct, so they needed to make them shorter so that they wouldn't dig too deep into the radiator. That's my best bet, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it'd be an issue. Whatever. All right, so most of these are going to be a 6 millimeter thread with a 1.0 pitch. This looks about right. Hopefully it is. Let's see if it goes in here fine. Feels good so far. Let me grab the rest of my tool. If you're working on Japanese machines, man, this is the ultimate kit, man. Harbor Freight works like a dream. Okay. Get that on there, and then you just twist her like that. Oh yeah, that feels smooth. This is the one that wasn't an issue though. This one's good. And then the other one is where I'm worried. Oh man, it was actually a lot dirtier than I thought. Dang. I'm gonna have to clean this out real quick. You know, it's warmer now, but it's getting real rainy, so my audio might get completely shreked soon by the rain. Alright, so this other one is like, you can't see it very well from this angle, but this is the one I'm going to try and clean out. It's got a lot of crap, a lot of JB Weld, but so far it feels good. Yeah, I think we're good. Looks like this radiator is going to be repairable. Now, whether the JB Weld on there is going to scare somebody out of a deal, I don't know, but what we do know is it doesn't leak. I've ran this thing for quite a bit at this point, and I've never seen anything come out of the radiator, so actually not too bad so far. Okay, let's clean this up, and then I'll run it through one more time, and then we'll put in our bolts. All right. Nice and straight. Oh yeah, it's starting to rain on me. Dang it, I'm gonna have to move my machine. The wind is blowing right toward me. And it's getting caught up here at the back end. I don't know if that's gonna work or not now. Or if I'm deep enough. It could be that the radiator just bottoms out. So, from the way that the guys before did the bolts, it makes me think that these aren't very deep. And, yeah, that it does bottom out. So, I think we're probably pretty good. Definitely some metal in there. Let's see that. So, all right. See if a bolt will work. Will a bolt go in just fine? I might have to clean this bolt off first. It's a little grimy. Let me get my, that's not too bad. Should be enough to see if it works or not. Alright. I think she's got plenty enough grab. Yeah. We're good. Awesome. Okay, now we can hook up our overflow box. I do need to find out if the hose, this hose is long enough. So this one, yeah, see, he's got some zip ties on there. Let me remove that real quick. Get rid of these guys, and then see if this one reaches or not. So it doesn't look damaged at all. This one runs all the way to the other side and hooks up to the bottom of the overflow box. I wonder how it routes so that it doesn't get... I'll go look at another bike real quick. We got one right here. So this one, it's so hard to tell. It literally just goes right angle straight over. So, okay, that's not bad. We do need a clamp though. Ideally, we want this guy on there. Steal him. And then, so he hooks up to the bottom of this. See, he's not long enough. By the time this is mounted on here, this will be like, oh golly. This will be here. And then this guy's supposed to be mounted, hooked up to the bottom, but he doesn't reach. So we do have to replace that one. So let's go back to this guy. Put this back on here. And pull that off. And pull that one off. Swap you out for this one. Hopefully this one's long enough. Let's see. Doesn't look crazy longer, but it was already hooked up correctly, so it definitely should be long enough. Oh yeah, that looks way better. Okay. So now, take our overflow. This hose goes down through this hole. If I can get it in there. I don't know what that does. If you know what that hose is supposed to do for the fan, let me know. Maybe it cools off part of the fan. I don't know. But this one has like a weird accordion thing on the top of it. Okay, so we're just going to hook up this one to the bottom here. Move our clamp up. And bada bing. Overflow is just like it should be. And now 2 bolts. And she should be done. Let's see if this works. I didn't try this one out, but you don't need much for these. Just enough to keep it on. That's 1. And then 2. This one's awfully goofy looking, but it's kind of the same. At the end of the day, as long as it threads in there, we're good. Alright, it's aluminum, so you want to be gentle. Alright, that's the overflow box. Looks like she's good. We'll have to fill her up real quick. Make sure she doesn't leak, but we officially have an overflow box, and we can fill this up and the radiator, see if there's any more leaks. If not, this thing's good. All we got to do is check the oil. So let's start with the coolant real quick, just to make sure I don't have to take any of that off again real quick. Alright, we have coolant up to here. It's kind of hard to see, but I don't see any leaks, so this overflow is good. So that's pretty sweet. I like it. That was free. I just think that was from a spare one I had way back when. So even though it has overspray, it's still functioning, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let's go ahead and fill up the coolant and see if it leaks out the other side. Dang it. Forgot that one. Anybody caught that? The second I started pouring it in, it started pouring out. So I'm going to try and get this cap on there real quick. See if it can save me a little bit of coolant. Oh, I don't even know where that bolt is. Here it is. Oof. Mistakes have been made. Okay. There we go. My bad. I got coolant everywhere. Genius. No more coolant, please. Alright, now we can top it off. Alright, I got the coolant topped off all the way. So far, I don't believe I see anything down there. Let's go ahead and start her up. Get some of that coolant washed out of there and get the air gurgled out. Alright, I don't see anything yet. To ride around a little bit to even get it to leak a little bit, but so far it's looking good. Alright, this thing's already pretty muddy, so let's go ahead and just jump on her, ride her for a little bit, see if we can see any coolant leaks. Fix my camera. Alright, so the Arctic Cat looks like we fixed the coolant leaking issue. I definitely got some water on there when I was riding, and it's kind of hard to tell, but none of that looked green. We're not leaking there. We're not leaking on the other side. So this radiator was good, but the overflow is what I was concerned about, and it doesn't appear to be leaking at all. So we got coolant in there. I still need to drain the oil and check that, but other than that, we really only have this to fix, which is your heat sensor for your coolant, which turns on the fan. Right now they just have it bypassed with this splice here, but I'm gonna have to undo this. I have a new one in the mail coming either today or someday soon. It's supposed to come today, but with all this mailing crap going wrong, I'm kind of thinking maybe it doesn't show up. So but yeah, if we're lucky, we can fix this today. If not, it's not a big deal. I can still get it up for sale and just do that when it shows up. But all in all, I think the Arctic Cat is pretty much ready for sale. The only thing left to do is to drain this oil, make sure there's no coolant in there, because if there is, I can't sell it like that. So, all right, who thinks that it's gonna be milky? No, it's not milky at all. Let's see if it ends up. It's got that there's a little bit of milkiness right there. That's interesting. It's like a tiny bit. Oof. So there was a tiny bit of coolant in there. I wonder if it got in there when the guy did the guy did the cylinder on this. I'm curious if maybe I don't know, that'd be really weird to not drain your oil after you do it, but it's possible. Let's definitely got some milkiness to it here and there, but it's not a lot. Okay. I'm curious. There's a few things to consider when there's not a lot of coolant. Makes me wonder if water got in a different way. For example, if you left like this off and left it in a barn that was really wet, or left it outside for like a day, or who knows, man. Like if a little bit of water got in, not that big of a deal. But if it's like consistently getting in through a component that's failing, then that's a big issue. But it wasn't much coolant or water that was in there, so I'm kind of on the fence here. What do you think? Is that like, it's a brand new cylinder, so it should be a brand new head gasket. It could be a cheap one, but still, brand new head gasket and piston. So the only other option would be the water pump seal failing. Yeah, I'm not sure here. All right, I'm really hoping that this oil filter is good because I don't have another one. And I really don't want to lose a half an hour going to get an oil filter just to put this up for sale. So be clean, please. Oh, of course. I dropped my bolt. So, no coolant in there so far. This does not look... This doesn't look like it's new at all. It looks a whole different shade of what I'm used to, at least. I don't know, man. That looks pretty brown. Aren't these usually yellow or white? That's interesting. Let me get some of this oil out and take a better look. So I'm definitely getting a lot of little metal flakes all up in this when I clean this out. And it's definitely sludgy. But you can, it might be hard to see, but there's a lot of little metallic guys on this thing. Which means it was doing its job, but at the same time, why? I mean, with the color of this, it makes me think that this guy did a rebuild, but didn't change out the oil filter. You know what I mean? It's almost like he left the old oil filter that probably still had coolant in it because it was probably blown or something. Because he said he put a different head on this, which means the head on the past one was shot. So it almost makes me think that this oil filter didn't get changed out. Like he said, it's a pretty new rebuild. So either this thing has been ran a lot more than I think, or this just does not look new at all. I'm definitely going to have to put a new one in there and watch it closely. It definitely has small metallic flakes all up in there. The amount of coolant in here was not much. Like you can't even see it now. It already dissolved. But, or coolant or water or whatever it wasn't a lot. So, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward maybe when he rebuilt this, he didn't do the oil filter and then it left some water or coolant or whatever inside the engine. And then, I mean, that's groggy. Like, there's some grime in there. So I'm going to definitely have to go into town, get a new one of these, and plop that on. And then I'm just going to have to watch it, I guess. I'm going to have to ride it. But I'm leaning toward that's what happened. When he rebuilt it, he didn't change the oil filter. And that left some water in there, and that explains the metal flakes in here. There wasn't like any obvious metal flakes in the oil, but there definitely was in here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let me know if I'm crazy, but I'm going to have to go get a filter. So, okay, I am back from the auto parts store. The only place in town that had a usable filter was Napa. And it looks like this is the correct filter. Thank goodness. Okay. So, if you have a Napa, and by chance they have this 7931, you can use a Napa Gold oil filter. Let's see. I think there's supposed to be an O-ring. Yeah, there's one O-ring in there. Make sure that's in there. And then put your filter in. And then you have an O-ring on here that you need to keep clean. And then this just goes right back with the arrow pointing up. Just as simple as that. And I need to clean my lens again. I keep getting it dirty. Where's my last bolt at here? 3 bolts. Oh, I dropped one in the dang oil pan. All right. Where are you? There you are. It's all scummed up. So the more I think about it, the more I do think that he just didn't change this oil filter when he did the rebuild. Every filter I see is either yellow or white on the oil filters, so I really feel like it was just left in there for some reason. All right. Now we got to do is top her off, and I think should be good to go. Already got my drain plugs in there, so I'm going to fill her up with oil. We'll fire her up, make sure everything's good. I think she's ready for sale, other than this guy, which I'll just have to do when I get it. All right, I got some 10W40 wet clutch oil, full synthetic, going in with the oil filter. I think it's like 2,000 milliliters. Wow, milliliters, not milligrams. Helps to have one of these swivel filters because, as you can tell, you can't really get to the oil cap spot there very well. So this has been my favorite filter for doing oil changes on the LTZs and a lot of these quads, actually. All right, she's all topped off. Just gotta put the cap on real quick. Make sure there's no leaks. Fire her up. And give her a quick rip and then clean her up. Don't see any leaks, any drips. Looking good. Need to find a cap for this. It's only on the dipstick if you thread it in. So I think of my hair low. Get this on there correctly. Usually when I do a oil change, I have to add another like 100 milliliters. So yeah, just barely hits the bottom. So I definitely need to add another like 100 milliliters and we'll be good. Alright, let's hop on her, do one more quick ride, and then I'm going to have to clean her up and get her up for sale. well, it's pretty muddy, but I'm pretty happy with her. I don't see any, I don't believe I see coolant down here. It's just mud and wetness from driving around, I think. But so far, I don't think the coolant's leaking anymore. I think we're good, and the cooling system's all set up much better. The only thing that's not working is the temperature-based sensor there. Let's go ahead and power wash her and get her good to go. Time to get wet. You're gonna look so pretty today for your showing. Oh, missing that plastic. Alright, she's looking pretty. It's almost there. I think I'm gonna ride her out to my area where I snap my photos and put her up for sale. Let's go right out there real quick, make sure everything's good. Didn't hurt anything with my power washer. Sucks that the roads are really wet today. Kind of air dry her off. Alright, so this is where I usually take my photos, get some nice crisp clean photos outside. She's all good to go. Like I said, the only thing that she's really missing is the temp sensor down here, which once I get it in the mail I'll just do it. But so far not seeing any obvious coolant leaks. This all looks to be water down here, which I should probably clean up for the photo, but I'll get her all kind of finished up and making her look good. And I hear something sizzling. Oh, the water's dripping from the radiator fan. Not a big deal. It's still just pretty wet. So I'll clean her up and get her good enough for the photos, and I'm gonna put her up for sale. This one is titled in my name. I think I'm putting her up for $25, but I'm probably gonna take anything as low as $2,000. And if it doesn't sell in like 3-4 weeks, then I might go down to $1,800, because the Arctic Cats are a little tricky to sell. So that's it for the Arctic Cat. I think that's all the content that I can do. She's tuned up, she's doing good. I left the original Mikuni carb in there. I'm just accounting for that in my costs, and that's why I'm sticking with the higher end price. If it doesn't sell for $2K, then I probably will swap it out for like a niche carburetor, tune it again, and that way I don't feel bad about selling it for $800 and sell the Mikuni carburetor for $300. So that's the Arctic Cat DVX400. I think she's looking pretty good. I mean, I just did a quick power wash. It's so cold out lately that it's really hard to do detail work, which I normally would do. So I'm just gonna call it, snap some photos, take some videos. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me. And yeah, if you want to leave a like and subscribe, really appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.